Welcome to another AriesPointProject video. My name is Aaron. And today I just kind of wanted to talk about the energies of the moment. What can I say? We got Venus coming into conjunction with Pluto a little bit later on today. It's the 11th of December. You know, of course, it's going to mean something different to everyone. There's going to be some common theme energy in the collective, but how it kind of comes out through you and your experience will be varied. What you come out of this with will be varied as well. For me, it's happening in my third house in Capricorn. And I've been reflecting, of course, kind of feeling into life here. And you got a lot of downtime away from distraction. You get pulled into different things, and when you take a breather from those, you get a sense of what's happening with you in your life. And you can also look at astrology and just kind of look for the themes that are coming up for you. Do they jive with what you're seeing in the charts? And if so, how? Then you can get a sense of your own placements and the transits themselves, what kind of a cycle that the individual dynamics are in. And so, having that third house, energy, Venus and Mars play a very pivotal role in my energy, I guess. I've got a Venus-Mars conjunction in Aries in my 6th house. And so I've come to understand a few things revolving around that dynamic. And since I have a Pluto-ruled house, it's really tapping in. And I have Pluto in the 12th in Libra, so I'm seeing where, within my life there's certain aspects that I can control, or cultivate might be a better word, because it's all about attention. And when you're trying to control something, you're falling into a static of something that once was. And so you always have to come out of that and kind of let go and see what comes to you. And sometimes when you're letting go, realizations happen for you. And when you're just living life without thinking about that, events are happening and you're processing them. And sometimes it takes a while before the truth is understood. So Pluto's very deep and transformative. And Venus is what you like, what makes you feel good, how you like to make others feel good. Every planet has dualities. There's a season out there. If a planet isn't versatile for the season, then it suffers. And so the polarities are innate from micro to macro within every element of life. So I guess transforming my mind, communicating, expressing, this is going to be closing out a 4-year Venus cycle as well. So think back to 2017. What has changed for you? What's transformed for you? So maybe with this time you use what all that was about to inform you of where you are in this cycle right now. We may not have an authentic understanding of what astrology was thousands of years ago. But everything changes with time, and you're appropriate to your time if you're here now. So how you analyze it, what you can get from the past, but also extrapolate from your experience and what you're seeing and feeling and how other people are in their own experiences. You have to see astrology as a very dynamic map, and it's up to the individual how deeply it communicates with them. So I think in this Uranian age, we're going to have to merge the spirit with the mind. That's the Ahrimanic expression from Rudolf Steiner. But it is also just kind of a common flow if you look at the psychology of interrelations. Because a lot of things come from the dynamics between us. And the systems we place our in, the epigenetics, it informs us, and we begin to get deeper into whatever it is, and sometimes we hit these gaps and we fall out, and that's how we wake up. So with this imbalance in the psychosis, the intellect of humanity right now, you have the polarities forming so that a balance can be sought. So just remember, all this craziness, it's part of a cycle. You know, in life you don't have to be right all the time, just when it counts. And if you can try and get centered, get within yourself, create something, do what you can to get out of the madness, then you get balance within yourself, and you know that you'll naturally follow the ways to the balance, to the center. So with this Venus-Pluto, I'm trying to break away from that system and do me, you know. Just be a creative person, do what I want to do what I'm passionate about, that is of service to others as it is of service to myself. So in that way you can give, you know, you can share, you can contribute. You know, and I am a contribution and example, I suppose. You know, maybe I offer some ideas or contrast or affirmation. Whatever it is, you know, you might gain something from it. So that is a big aspect of why I'm doing this. I want what I do to matter, basically. And looking at contracts and logs and troubleshooting myopic technical issues is not really a rewarding experience for me. I'm done processing whatever it was holding me within them loops. Now it's time that I need to process at a different level. And so I'm creating and sharing and researching and just being who I am. And I hope that in that process, some people will see, what they can be for themselves. And I'm not saying that I'm a shining example or a perfect human being, but I'm trying to be conscious of myself and the world around me, understand it a little better, understand that I am a hyper-subjective person and everyone is, but they can't all see it. Some of us are tilted towards the external, and some of us are driven within. And there are seasons where those energies kind of meet, So you need to create something when you're riding the waves of time. The human experience, it is a expression of time. We are expressions in time. Ever flowing from dream to dream like a never-ending stream. I don't know. But then within that, there's so much beyond words. This is why only poetry can really speak to a lot of these things. Only art, expression. And some of us find that through seeing it in other people. Some of us are so deep living it we don't even know it, But this is your time to create. When you come into consciousness of the self, you should spend your time doing something rather than being in anticipation, and I speak that from experience because I've been in those layers of the abyss. Life for me is all about contrast, and I need to know. And those phases in and out, you are able to identify within yourself and so in others. And of course you always have the understanding that you don't know it all, and what you do is a node in transition. The meaning is forever deepening, broadening. So I think right now, astrologically speaking, Venus and Pluto are closing out her 4-year cycle, starting a new cycle, both with Pluto, for Pluto, and with the Sun, and with all sorts of other planets within your own personal cycles. We are time when we're alive and flowing like this. And the birth chart is a moment in time when you were born. It shines all the aspects that were in the skies. And those aspects, those planets, stars, things beyond what we've identified even, they seep in through us, simply through being. That's this dimension. And it's just a layer, on the cake. And no matter how simple you look at life or how complex, you're in it. So you got to use your delusion and respect some kind of an illusion that allows others to use their delusions too. So if you're bent in the mind, you gotta drop some of the knowing and allow the ignorance to bring wisdom to you. And if you're too much in your feelings, you gotta rise up and look at your life, how it's progressed. Where did you get pulled down? Why did you get pulled down? How? Are you done with some cycle? Are you done with these loops that are keeping you in these fixed processes? Only you can answer those things. And I will admit, it's very hard to even answer them because the truth is, the question is the most important. And if you're not engaged with the world, it's hard to formulate new questions. That's why it's important to be in contact with people. And I'm a big introvert. I'm a very hermetic person, hermit-like. But I will admit it is nice to meet people from time to time and engage in the world. When I go to the grocery store, I'm engaging with the world. That's how I am when I'm there. Sometimes I talk to people, sometimes I don't, but I always look at them and I read the energies. I don't know, maybe that's kind of weird, but it's how I am. Of course I buy things too, it's just not all observation. But then there's times in life when you can turn that off and you can just tune into what you gotta do, and that's everything, the only thing. And that's the default for a lot of people until they've processed the healing that's taken place within them. And then there's that moment where you have to soothe yourself after coming out of that, because you're decompressing from the experience and you're deep processing, and coping mechanism stages set in, and you start to become more aware of your patterns, loops, see them in others. And once you get through the denial and the phases of blaming other people or seeing the ills of their ways, you start to realize, well, we all have got the ills of our ways, and it's up to us to dig in and find out what those are. And that's where you start to dig into your triggers and you understand where your shadow is and how you bring these things out in others, just as they do with you, because that's the dynamic you've created. It's an unspoken connection. That's why some people always keep finding the same types of people. You got to get out of those phases, and it takes time. So the best you can do when you're in those phases is just become aware of it so that you can accept it. You can know you're in this hangman, you're in this, well, I'll say karmic energy, but the word karma is loaded. You got to re-identify your understandings. Make these words a little more dynamic. Remember, there's an age to everything. Well, I guess getting into my 6th house, trying to utilize the knowledge of astrology and of myself and the times, and put in the work when it makes sense. And so I'm doing these videos now, and I'm going to try and do them even when I'm not in the mood. That's one thing I'm working on within me. And comes with understanding that I need to get into some grooves. I need to set some schedules, but to do that I need to heal the body. A lot of injuries pile up when you're sedentary. You start to notice them. So if I can give any advice, move, get into your body, and try and find the center within yourself and breathe. Get the sun, get the air. We're in a liminal phase, transition state. Times change, you're not stuck right now. Well, you're stuck. It's a process. So put in the time that can maximize your efforts and the optimal future for you. So do a bunch of different things and try and get into self-sustenance, taking care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and monetarily, physically in this world. Put in the efforts. If you put in as much effort in what you want as you do as what other people want from you, you'll succeed in everything. So, alright, thanks for watching. favorite part of the keyboard is messed up. There's a lesson in this, helping me break my statics.